Bodine52, how are you folks? I'm back in Michigan with my beautiful bike and out for my first ride. I thought I'd take you along. And I want to talk about, is a home or is a house a house? Woohoo! How are you folks? Hope things are well with you and your family. I am out and about in the beautiful but overcast and somewhat cold state of Michigan. If you happen to follow my channel, you know that I am in the middle of moving from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Michigan, which is where I grew up. So coming home to be with family, starting a new job. It's already started, and finally been out and about today and yesterday. Mrs. Bodine is in town because she's been staying in Pittsburgh, working on helping sell the house. But I finally got out on the motorcycle. It's been sitting in my brother-in-law's garage. Probably saw my last video where I actually rode it down from Pennsylvania. So this is my first time out, and again, thought I'd bring you along. You know, it's interesting. I've been gone for 2 years from Michigan, and I remember a lot of the back roads, but you still gotta go on them and remind yourself, right? This happens to be one of them. There's a lot of metro parks in the state of Michigan that are kind of cool to drive through and drive to and hang out. And this is one of the back roads that I remember that's pretty good. So, you know, one of the things I did want to talk about is houses and homes, because to me they're different, right? So let me tell you a quick story. So in my professional career, I'm not being nice, buddy. I just don't trust you. In my professional career, I've actually moved, relocated probably 4 times for work. And Mrs. Bodine's been great every time. Like, hey, it's a new challenge, it's a new opportunity, you know, meet new friends and all that stuff. And while it's really tough leaving some really good friends in Pennsylvania, you know, being home with family has to be your priority, right? And we last week, or a week and a half ago, got a contract on our house in Pittsburgh. So we're going through all the inspection stuff and appraisal stuff and all that fun stuff that has to happen to get to a closing, which will be in mid to late October. And meanwhile, I have been here working about a month now in the new job, the new role, and living in a beautiful 1-bedroom residence inn. Now, it's actually not too bad. It has a kitchen and a little living room and a desk and a bedroom and all that fun stuff, so it's not too bad. You get a hot breakfast every morning if you want, but you're still living out of a hotel. And that gets me, you know, here working while we're working on the other stuff. But since we finally, or after about 4 or 5 weeks, got an accepted offer on our house in Pittsburgh, we now started the search for a house here in Michigan, which we got to get moving on because I close on our house in Pittsburgh in 7 weeks, or we close on that. So I've been looking at houses over the last 3 weeks, and really areas that we wanted to move in, just because I wanted to find the area we wanted, and maybe 3 or 4 houses before I brought Mrs. Bodine into town to pick one out. So again, now that we have an offer, we needed to get moving. So she is in town. She came in town yesterday, and we really had whittled it down to 2 houses, but one that we really, really liked, or I really liked. I saw it twice. I talked through it with her. I had taken some pictures. We looked at it on the internet, and we looked at it yesterday, and you know, she fell in love with it like I did. All the stuff that's important to her is in the house. It's just a great location, 40 acres of woods behind us, and you know, all the stuff that's especially important to her and to me. But I really want her happy, and part of the move back is to be back to family, but it's important that she wants that too. And like I said, I've moved her so many times that I figure I owe her that, right? So win-win for everybody. But we decided to make an offer on this house yesterday, and we did it late in the day. Got the offer in probably 3 or 4 o'clock, and of course, Mrs. Bodine is like, why aren't they getting back to us at like dinner time? I'm like, it takes time. People are working, blah, blah, blah. So needless to say, we came to an agreement last night at 8:30. So we are now under contract in a house in Michigan. So we are super excited about that. But one of my questions was, and we've had different houses, obviously moving so many times. And, you know, one of the things that's different about this house is it feels like home. Like when we pulled in the driveway, you know, it's one of those feelings that you get. It's got to have all the things you need, right? But it feels like a home, you know, just the environment around it, the neighborhood, the stuff in the house, you know, it just feels like it's something you can make your own. And then there's, you know, I lived in Chicago, and I actually moved into Chicago in 2008 for about 5-year stint, where that's when the economy was really tanked. And I was fortunate that my old company bought my old house. But when I went to buy a new house, think about it, in 2008, how everybody was freaked out. I was able to buy a house way, way too big for me, or for us. But it was so cheap that I couldn't help myself, right? And it was a beautiful house, but we had bedrooms and stuff that we really never even went in. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, right? And you never want to be house poor or anything like that, but it didn't feel like home, even though people would come in and go, oh my God, your home is unbelievable. But it's like, it really didn't feel like home. It was a house. So, I don't know, folks, if that makes sense to you, but if it does, you know, share with me your story of, have you ever lived in a home, or do you live in your home now that you really feel is home, or are you just living in a house? And maybe it's an apartment or a townhouse you're renting. You know, I mean, it's more in your head and your heart. Are you home? I don't know. I feel like this will be home. Just great to see family. Great to be back. Great to find this road. It is a little chilly, I gotta say, but it feels good. So that's it for me, folks. Thanks for checking in. And we are home. Big Mama, myself, and this country road, and some fellow riders. Can't get any better than that. Be safe, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.